When we look at the reformation of the soul, tazkiyatun nafs, then there's two parts to it. One is the positive part to it, which is the adornment with good qualities, sincerity, generosity, having a forgiving heart, being humble, being kind. And then there is the negative part to it, meaning the removal of negative qualities such as pride, arrogance, conceit, haughtiness, and all the other different negative attributes that humans possess. Now, every one of us, there are certain sins that we are involved in on a daily basis, whether it is lying, whether it is cheating, whether it is not controlling the gaze, whether it is flirting. The list is endless, and we know ourselves better. Even if it's pride of the heart, looking at others with disdain and looking down at others. So, as humans, we need to put an end to the sins that we commit. And we need to work towards improving ourselves. Someone came to Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu and asked him that what is better? Rajulun kathirul amal kathirul dhunub. Wa rajulun qalilul amal qalilul dhunub. There are two people. One does lots of good deeds, but he also commits lots of sins. And on the other hand, you have a person who does few good deeds, only the farais, the minimum, but his sins are less. Who's better in your eyes? They asked Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. And he said, the one who does less but abstains from sins, he is better in my eyes. So we should have a continuous effort towards improving ourselves and omitting sins from our lives. The reality is, kullu bani adama khatta'un. Every one of the servants of Allah are sinners. Wa khayrul khatta'in at-tawwabun. And the best are those who make tawbah. Everyone sins in different ways. You look at someone and that person is drunk, and you look down at that person, but he's sinning in a particular way, you sin in a different way, but we all are sinners in one way or the other. Now, why is it that we need to block out sin? Because sin, when a person commits a sin, then what happens? A black dot comes to his heart. And if he repeats its sin, another black dot. But if he makes tawbah, it is cleaned out and it's wiped out. It polishes his heart. So that is the first effect of a sin. The second effect of a sin is that a person is deprived. Inna rajulu la yuhramu rizq bi ajali dhanbin yusibu. That a person is deprived of rizq, sustenance, because of sins that a person commit. Another negative effect is that in a hadith it comes that two people are such that they have good friendship, they have love, a husband and a wife. فَتَفَرَّقَا. But then they start fighting with one another. بِأَجَلِ ذَنْبٍ يُسِيبُهُ. Because of a sin that one of them commits. So what happens? We complain. Our children don't listen. My wife is always back-chatting. My employer, I'm having problems with my relations. But sometimes it's because of the fact that our relationship with Allah is not in order. That is why we have negative effects in all our relations. Sin also creates unease. وَالْإِثْمُ مَا حَاكَ فِي صَدْرِكَ. It creates a feeling of anxiety, trepidation. One feels nervous as a result of that sin, because now you are doing things that are displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one is deprived of peace and tranquility, because peace and tranquility is only in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how do we make a change in our lives? We're moving towards the month of Ramadan, a blessed month, and in this month there's so much nur, effulgence, spirituality that we all experience, and we'd all like to improve ourselves. And sometimes it's difficult to make a dramatic and drastic change in our lives. So what we could do is identify one particular area in which we'd like to change. So whether it is, giving up smoking, whether it is a person who wants to be more regular with his salah, a person who wants to control his gaze more, a person who wants to dress in a more Islamic manner, whatever it is, one can identify one aspect and work on that. So how do we go about making a change and stop putting an end to some sin that we are committing? The first is to identify, I'd like to control my tongue. So Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu said, Al-i'tirafu i'tidharun. And he said that if you admit that you have a mistake, then you will ask for forgiveness. And he said that, but if you deny, well, inkaru israrun, and if you deny, then you'll never improve. So you need to admit that I have a problem, that I like to talk about other people in a negative way. And only when you admit that, then you'll change. But if you say, no, but I'm only speaking the truth, or I don't mean any harm, then you'll never improve. So the first point is to identify what is it that I'd like to change. Then the second is to identify what are the circumstances when I am tempted towards the sin. When is it that I'm most inclined towards the sin? So it may be that when a person is feeling stressed, that is when you want to smoke. So you need to look at what is it that makes you stressed. Change your environment, change your circumstances. There is a lengthy incident where a man had killed 99 people, and he went to the pious person in town and they asked, will there be tawbah for me? So the pious man said, no, there's no tawbah, 99 people. So he killed that man also, and it was now 100. Then he went to the scholar and he asked him, is there tawbah? I killed 100 people. So the scholar said, yes, you can make tawbah, but you've got to leave the environment you are in now, and you've got to go to another place and live there, and then your tawbah will be complete. So he sets off on a journey to the other place, and en route he passes away. And the angels of mercy and the angels of punishment are disputing who must take his soul. The one says, this man committed every sin, so therefore I should take him away. The other one says that he had good intentions, so therefore the angels of mercy want to take him away. Allah then makes it that he is, they say, measure to where he is closer, and it turns out that he's exactly in the middle, and then his body is moved towards the destination that he was intending, and as the result the angel of mercy takes him away. But what we learn from this is that we need to change our environment. So sometimes it's the group of friends that we hang out with, or when we are feeling idle, whether it is on a Saturday evening or Sunday, that we feel that we don't have anything to do. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. So one needs to block the means. That is the second thing. Identify what you want to change, block the means. The third thing is that you need to seek alternatives. So instead of now finding yourself desiring a particular thing, rather you preoccupy yourself with something more positive. Keep your tongue occupied with the dhikr of Allah. Speak about people in a positive manner. Control your eyes and look at the noble Quran. So seek alternatives. And then the fourth thing that one needs to do, and that is that one should make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want to change in any way, it is important to make dua to Allah. Nothing can happen without the assistance and the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you ask Allah with sincerity that, Ya Allah, I'd like to change in this particular manner. Make it possible for me to change. And we need spiritual strength to effect a change. In the verse of the noble Quran it comes, Innal hasanati yudhibna sayyi'at. That indeed it is good deeds wipe out evil deeds. When a person commits an evil deed and he follows it up with a good deed, then the good deed wipes out the evil deed. When Nabi Yusuf ﷺ was tempted by the lady of the house, that she was trying to seduce him, and she came forth to him, how did he respond? The first thing he did was he said, Ma'adallah, I seek the protection of Allah. I seek the protection of Allah. Without the protection of Allah, we will never be saved. The second thing that he did was, he remembered that I am in the home of the Aziz of Misr, and he's been very kind to me. So he said, Inna Rabbi ahsana mathwai. He's been so kind to me. If I must commit zina with his wife, then I will be violating and I will be reciprocating goodness with evil. So he thought about the favors of his master upon him. And the third thing he did was, he fled from there and he ran towards the door. And as he came to the door was locked, but Allah opened the door for him. So what we understand is that we cannot just sit back and make dua, Ya Allah, give me the ability to give up smoking, give me the ability to stop drinking, give me the ability to stop listening to music, give me the ability to stop doing this and that, and we don't do anything. We need to take that effort, like how Nabi Yusuf ﷺ ran towards the door. Then when he came to the door, Allah opened the door that was locked. So when we take those steps and we make an effort, Allah Rabbul Izzah will then enable us to bring about the change and to improve ourselves. May Allah Rabbul Izzah make us from those that improve ourselves. In the month of Rajab and Sha'ban, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would make the dua, Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa balighna Ramadan. Allah bless us in Rajab and Sha'ban and make us witness Ramadan. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was making dua that he be granted life to witness Ramadan, because what Ramadan entails. And then when Ramadan would come, he would make the dua, Allahumma sallim li Ramadan wa sallim Ramadan li wa sallimhu minni mutaqabbala. Oh Allah, preserve me so I can enjoy Ramadan, and preserve Ramadan so that I can take maximum benefit and accept the actions of the month of Ramadan. May Allah Rabbul Izzah accept all our deeds and give us the ability to continuously improve.